Hello and welcome to episode number 6 of UNL Recall. In week 6 of UNL, we saw a familiar team move even further up the rankings, and we saw some teams slip up in terms of form. So let's. This is a perfect start to the episode. Let's look at what happened last week. Yep. This is now you know this is all live. So this is the schedule for week 6. Started the week off with Winx Club versus Hivemind, and this was the first surprise of the week, with Hivemind finally getting a win on the board. Although they actually did get one previous week versus Invulnerables, but this was the big surprise. Hivemind beating one of the top 2 teams in a fairly standard, clean fashion. Outlaw bringing out the Xin Zhao, wreaking havoc in the early game. The top side of the map was completely in tatters. Arins was basically the only threat on the enemy team, and he was dealt with quite quickly when the Mordekaiser actually entered the team fights. So that was a fairly one-sided affair from Hivemind. Quite a surprising win for them. Hope this trend continues as they try to bring their old form back. Next game, Invulnerables versus B Invictus. B Invictus had to play 2 of their substitute players, and they also pulled out a team comp, which they didn't have much practice with, and it definitely showed in that game. The Senna and the Cho'Gath were surprised by the Hecarim. Multiple ganks. The bot lane fell behind. The Corki in the mid lane took way too long to scale up, and there was no recourse for B Invictus as the Invulnerables jungler Ezzy was fed beyond belief on the Hecarim, as his friendship picking up all the straight kills on the Swain as well, and the juggle mid from Invul was absolutely unstoppable for the entirety of the game, and that was a very much needed win for Invul as they still try to make a run for it in the playoffs race. Third match on Saturday, Opera Aquarium versus Winx Club, and this was a Winx Club win. Winx Club finding their mojo for the second game for Saturday, playing much better this time, also just sticking to their guns, playing more standard, just the regular meatballs plus Arins on a the scaling 80 carry type of team comp, which usually works out well for them, and it worked out well this time as well. That was another win in the books for Winx. And to close out Saturday, Brewing Kings versus Gourmet Gang. His bot lane. That actually got picked this game. I don't think anything. Oh, also Braum top lane. I don't think anything more needs to be said. Gourmet Gang went a little bit too experimental on this one, and got quickly shown up by Ruin Kings, who also pulled out the Draven mid in a fairly low stakes match. So I don't know what's up with that. I don't know why Hands, Ruin King's mid laner, is bullying teams for no reason. Perhaps the UNL Council will have to look into that. I don't know why that is even allowed in the first place. Draven mid is should be considered a war crime in my opinion. And moving on to Sunday, Hex versus Gosport Gods. Well, this was another interesting game, perhaps for different reasons. Hex, again, going for the unorthodox pick, or maybe actually orthodox for them, since they have a Darius main of the mid lane, who actually picked up Darius this time, and they also paired it with the Ivern, was a explosive mid-jungle duo that absolutely dominated the game from start to finish, but the game itself didn't last very long, as we actually witnessed a 15-minute surrender from Gosport Gods, and And the behind the scenes stuff, let's just say I won't get too much into that because it's not really meant for the show. I think let's leave it at that. Second game on Sunday, we had Invol taking on Ruin Kings, and this was another show of strength for Ruin Kings, picking up another win. Once again, going for the early game composition, playing up tempo from the very first minutes of the game, with the early game jungler, with the Twisted Fate roaming to the side lanes, creating chaos, creating pressure all over the map, and also the Wukong, once again from Ended, proving to be a force to be reckoned with in the team fights. Tons of damage being dealt. He actually was behind in the laning phase, but that's not often. I mean, Wukong can get leads in the early game when it comes to laning, but that's not where he usually shines. He shines in the team fights, and that's where Ruin Kings really took off. The Invol team, once again, it really felt like they didn't buy themselves enough time to scale and actually take the Ruin Kings head on, which meant Ruin Kings went up to 7-5, I believe. And now, finally, we move on to perhaps the most interesting game of the entire weekend. We've had Wings Club going up against Gourmet Gang. Now, before this game even started, no one would blame you for betting at all on Wings Club. This was not supposed to be a Gourmet Gang win, and yet it was. And what a win that was from Gourmet Gang. Well fought from the beginning of the game. Actually, even getting early game leads. Of course, it didn't. The win didn't happen without hiccups. We had some unfortunate picks from Winks that happened to Gourmet Gang, plus the Twitch pentakill that happened right next to the Baron pit, which almost let Wings Club come back into the game, but alas, that wasn't enough. Gourmet Gang, with the help of the Blazilla on the Cho'Gath, managed to secure the win in the end. But also, yeah, I didn't manage to get clips from all of the games, but specifically, I have a lot of clips from this game, Wings Club versus Gourmet Gang, so let's take a look at some of them. First, we have the First Blood. Very nicely coordinated between the mid and the jungler. Ask Me the Bamboo also role swapping to jungle. I feel like that's something that we didn't mention.
Bought that Corrupted Pot, he would have died. But
there's a potential for an Udyr.
Udyr attack as well.
The E did not. The E from Sinja was not enough, as the chain had landed just after it. And
now we have the fight at the second dragon, where Gourmet Gang finally managed to take off with their lead. This was a very good showing from both solo lanes here, as well as the jungler.
Possibly not the best. There is a TP coming from Cho'Gath. Have they? Did Wings Club spot that? I'm not sure if they did.
I think.
Of course, I didn't change scenes. My apologies. Let's go back. Let's look at the First Blood again.
Bought that Corrupted Pot, he would have died. But
there's a potential for an Udyr.
Udyr attack as well.
The E did not. The E from Sinja was not enough, as the chain had landed just after it. And
yeah, the E2 on the Silas just to evade that knockback from the Syndra. That was very well done, and pretty much that was what enabled the play in the first place. Now we have the fight at the second dragon for Gourmet Gang, but ended up in a Gourmet Gang win.
Possibly not the best. There is a TP coming from Cho'Gath. Have they? Did Wings Club spot that? I'm not sure if they did.
I think they did. I think that's why they're backing off.
Yeah. Arins has to be very, very careful. That is a speedy as hell Udyr. He is getting wild growth by the Silas, and that is Waterknot going down. Blaziken lands the root. Oh, very, very well.
Well, that was not Blaziken landing the root, but I guess Cho'Gath builds Everfrost quite often, so we can forgive Judgy for thinking that was the case. Now we have the Now we have an unfortunate series of events for Winx Club as Gourmet Gang pick up kills all over the map, including a Cho'Gath 1v2. Let's take a look.
So we have not seen a turret go down quite yet. Chris K gets hit by the Cho'Gath's Q.
Oh,
There's a
God.
lot of damage,
Getting
but
followed.
both are just so tanky.
They're not trying to if you want him. Look at he takes no damage.
I don't think they can. Chris K is in the ult range and he gets ulted.
He's gonna get double.
He's gonna get double kill. And
We got panned
Blaziken
away from it, but he definitely got the double kill. The missing pin coming out from his team. Like, what do you do?
But I did say that, you know, Cho'Gath gets insanely tanky, and you look at Winx Club's team. Matthias under turret now. He does have unleashed power. He has to flash though. The turret, because of Triumph, I think he'll be fine. Pass him the bamboo, running onto a Rins, and a Rins is very, very out of position. The Soraka ult, just in case I'm off for Bowler, I don't think it was needed, but as you said, Udyr is just able to get around so quickly.
Oh, this is... Sorry, this is...
Yeah.
And that was a very good series of plays for Gourmet Gang. That was that moment where people started to believe, wait, this is actually happening. Gourmet Gang might be able to take this one. But yeah, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for the team. But first, also, yeah, let's look at this Silas 1v2 before we move on to the potential bad news for Gourmet Gang later on.
You look at a fed Cho'Gath and a fed Udyr. Matthias, though, might be in trouble here. He does have wild growth, Lulu's ult, which is going to go down, and so he will pick up a Rins because of that extra health and slow that Matthias. And now with Conqueror as well, that is why you go Conqueror on Silas. He manages to pick up a solo double kill, a 1v2.
Yeah, that was so much healing coming in from the Silas. Even with the Executioner's calling coming in from the other side, I'm pretty sure Twitch had that item at that exact point in time. So, yeah, ridiculous stuff from Matthias in the mid lane. But now, yeah, we move on to the Twitch pentakill. This was a bit of a stressful affair for Gourmet Gang as they almost let that win go.
4 Twitch autos and Sentry damage. And sure, he had to burn his flash, and it was a misplay by him still. He just walked out.
I like Arins using the blasting cone. He doesn't have invis though. He will have it now. Okay. They are slightly being forced off of Baron, and now Bayhu is very, very low. He's going to get picked off. The Twitch ult is absolutely huge. Malphite ult as well, disrupting anything. That is a quadra kill. Will we see a pentakill? Blaziken is trying as best as he can, but Arins is able. He's going to get the pentakill. This is the Blaziken. Sorry. That is a pentakill for the Twitch, and what a turnaround!
I don't know how these fights are going to go.
Yeah, quite honestly, that was in the Twitch chat. That was a moment where people lost hope. People were like, "Yeah, here we go again. Lorenzo's gonna carry this one again. This is why we can't have nice things. Why did Twitch have to go through in the draft?" But actually, Gourmet Gang at the end managed to take home the win, but it did take a lot of effort. It all came down to this one fight near top lane river.
Blaziken might be slightly out of position, but it is a Cho'Gath. What are they going to do? Oh Kip Carry! He flashes in. He ults Kip Carry. I think he may have wanted to kill a Rins instead, but Twitch is so low. He's so low, and passing the bamboo is just going to pick him up. Syndra is down. This is looking like a clean ace. Chris K is, I think, had to flash out. He is now under turret, but passing the bamboo does not care. He is Udyr. He may not be Mundo, but he's going where he pleases. Matthias looking to pick him up as well. Passing bamboo. Look how much he's tanking, but it's not enough. The Ocean Soul's coming so into clutch there. Blue turret destroyed. This could be game.
And indeed it was. It was game for Gourmet Gang. It took so many fights. It took Ocean Soul as well. But yeah, it also took the biggest Cho'Gath I've ever seen in the history of UNL. But yeah, with all that, Gourmet Gang finally managed to pick up that second win, and it had to be a big morale boost for the team. Let's see if this streak can keep up in the weeks to come, although Gourmet Gang still has a lot of tough matches ahead of them. And to close out the week, we had Be Invictus taking on All-Pearl Aquarium. Now, the first match between these teams was also very close, and yeah, this second match was no different. The Invictus actually went on to get about a 2,000 or 2,500 gold lead in the early game, doing quite well, getting the kills in the side lanes with the help of the Nocturne ultimate. Also, we had the Oriana scaling silently, quietly in the mid lane, getting those items. But All-Pearl Aquarium managed to turn everything around with their really, really solid team fighting, especially around the dragons, where Eternal Ether, I think, personally showed up huge with his Bard ultimates. Also, Brother Crow, another great performance on the Ezreal. I think that was also quite notable in this case. All-Pearl Aquarium managed to turn everything around, and they also, they had the range advantage with the comp that they had. So when it came to late game fights, it was that much harder for Be Invictus to get the advantages that they wanted. That was All-Pearl Aquarium finally picking up a win after their two previous losses. They have to pick up more wins if they want to fight for that top 2 position. Now let's look at the standings. Ruin Kings continue to move up the order. Now they are in 3rd place, finally overtaking All-Pearl Aquarium. Be Invictus and Gosport Gods really close now. Hivemind also catching up to these two teams, so the fight for the last 2 spots, or perhaps even the last 3 spots, is going to be very close. And the last 3 weeks are going to be very, very tense, as a lot of these teams are still fighting for the spots, and every match counts at this point. There's going to be a lot of nerves, especially as we close out this regular season. Gourmet Gang at 2-9, still a long ways ahead of actually making it to playoffs, but all hope is not yet lost for this team. They could technically still make it, although it would take a heroic effort at this point. They are quite far behind the rest. Hex getting 1st place uncontested because of Wings Club, getting that 1 in 2 weeks. So they slipped up, which helped Hex secure that position alone at 1st place. So that was the entirety of week 6. Now we move on to the usual segment that we keep repeating every week at the end of UNL Recall. Let's look at best of week 6. We have team of the week once again, and we also have the MVP for week 6. So once again, I'm curious to see who you think is going to win on these awards. Do we have the casino open? Wow, the casino isn't open. Where's the casino director? This is unprecedented. Usually the casino is running. Not this time. Casino is closed due to a bit of a meta joke. Our casino director is missing, it seems. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna load up the graphics. Just gonna reveal everything one by one. Okay, some of the text is not hidden, but of course that's not going to reveal the last Team of the Week award, so that's completely fine. As always, we're going to begin with the top lane Team of the Week award. Well, I suppose there's no casino running right now, so I think we just move on with the whole thing. The first Team of the Week award winner for Week 6 is Blazikus. Perhaps unsurprisingly. You even have the isolated Brom top incident that happened for Gourmet Gang. Somehow, I don't know what that was about, but still, despite all that, Blazikus actually managed to keep a positive KDA at the end of that game. He had a deathless Brom game at 3-0-3, I believe. So, oh, that was quite unexpected. But that was not why Blazikus got the MVP. It was all about that Cho'Gath game and how he basically just absolutely demolished the bot lane in the team fights from Wings Club, and also just ate people alive when they tried to gank him. It's completely commanding performance, and there was no stopping this Void monster. Yeah, Blazikus making it to Team of the Week 2 times in a row now. Quite an achievement when you consider that he's still playing in the last place team for UNL Season 4. But if you thought that's the end of Team of the Week awards for Gourmet Gang, then you were sorely mistaken. Because here's another one. Pass Me the Bamboo receiving the Team of the Week Jungle Award with 43% votes. Turns out you just have to roll swap the jungle and get like one decent game off, and boom. Team of the Week. There it is. Not to discredit Pass Me the Bamboo though, because honestly, that was a very impressive game from the entire top side of Gourmet Gang, if I'm being honest. Like that, they basically carried the momentum until the end. Yeah, it's just seems funny to me that all that Bamboo had to do was ditch the 80 carry roll. The first week he actually does it, he gets Team of the Week. Extra value on that one. Okay, now we move on to mid lane, and oh, whoa, what's all this then? It's another Gourmet Gang member. It's 3 in a row. But TSN11 gets the mid lane Team of the Week. 33%. Gourmet Gang absolutely taking it all the way to the bank on this one. To be honest, yeah, when I looked at the final results of the poll, I was like, what the hell, guys? You guys are going crazy. Off of that one game, like, I guess some of you guys were really impressed by the Gourmet Gang performances in that one game against Wings Club. I mean, it's fair though. Like it is a popularity contest to a certain extent. You kind of just basically it's about who impressed people the most, not necessarily about who was statistically the best. But yeah, this is this Gourmet Gang shining in the limelight for at least 1 week here. Who knows? Maybe that's not the only week where we'll see a Gourmet Gang appearing on Team of the Week more than once. But yeah, as I said, that would take a big effort from the entirety of the team. And now, 80 carry. Let's take a look. Not Gourmet Gang. That's the end of Gourmet Gang Awards this time. But it is a repeat. We're going to have February 14th appearing on the Team of the League award list once again. 38% voted. Brewing Kings makes it on Team of the Week once more. This time it's just the 80 carry. perhaps it was mostly connected to that second game, because in the first game it was mostly just the hands show from start to finish on the Draven. So there we go. That's one part of Ruin King's bot lane receiving the award. Now, last but not least, we have support. And what do you know? Hivemind makes it to Team of the Week for the first time in UNL Season 4. That's not what I expected to say before the season started. But here we go. Hivemind finally makes it, and it's Howlitzer who takes the award for himself. 19% voted in the original poll. Yeah, the Team of the Week vote for support this time was extremely close. Very, very close between all of the players. I'm pretty sure almost everyone received at least one vote, and there was a tie for first place between Howlitzer and BDNG. Howlitzer came out in first in the runoff. 58% voted for Howlitzer, and therefore he gets the award. Let's see if Hivemind can make it to Team of the Week more than once. They have 3 more weeks to go. Oh, and also, yeah, that's week 6 and not week 5. I don't know what happened here. Yeah, you'll you have to forgive me for that one. Okay, now the star of the show, the MVP. The player who stole everyone's hearts in week 6. The guy who had a monster performance, both figuratively and literally. It's the Gourmet Gang top laner. It's Blaziken who receives MVP. That also means that Gourmet Gang has a MVP awarded player in their ranks, despite being 2-9. There's still hope for them yet if Blaziken continues to perform like this. 23 KDA over 2 games. Perhaps the KP percentage is not as impressive, but when you look at the depth percentage, the depth share for the entire team, let's see. Gourmet Gang in total died 49 times over 2 games. Blaziken died only once. Only 1 out of 49 deaths, which means his death share is only a measly 2%. Now, you might accuse him of being a KDA player, but after you watch that Cho'Gath play, I don't think that's quite far from the truth. Blaziken absolutely carried the team on his back. But it wasn't just him. I feel like jungle and mid also played exceptionally well that game. Yeah, this was a story of Gourmet Gang finally coming together and getting a good result against one of the top teams. Maybe this is a sign of things to come, but obviously we don't know yet. We'll have to see what happens in week 7 and week 8. Also, this week was Ruin Kings once again proving that their rise in form is not just a fluke. So we have 2 of these teams to look out for. We also have to look at the midfield a little bit, just to see if B Invictus or teams like Invol continue to fall further down the rankings, or they can actually make a run for it and secure one of those spots, because time's running out. We have only 3 weeks to go. So that's it for UNL Recall. We're finally finished with the program. We covered week 6, we covered Team of the Week, we covered MVP, and that's the usual stuff. So that's going to be the end for me for today. Join us next Wednesday when we'll be covering another week of UNL gameplay and potentially some other stuff, depending on what happens on that week. Anyway, thanks to all who continue to watch the series, and see you all next Wednesday.